I guess it's time to start the meeting. And being as Eric and Tom's both gone, somehow I got nominated to try to run this tonight. I think everybody's got an agenda. Let's start out with going around the table. We'll start with Mike over here and introduce yourselves.
I'm Mike Berger, NACEY.
And I'm Jean Bruger, NALTE.
Bill Knopf, KNAWDK.
Doug Hunter, Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel.
Gary Foster, Whiskey 8 Gulf Mike Fox.
Steve Penrod, KC8 MIW.
Lee Farquharson, NALFK.
Aaron, KE8LVA.
Online. Eric,
W80LM.
who else is on there?
Rick.
We got a Rick on there, but I'm not sure we got audio from him yet. And I thought we had one more a while ago, but I guess not. I think Rick is a guest, I believe. Is Rick a member? I don't recognize the name. Does anyone know Rick in here? Rick, if you got audio, say something for us.
If you want to.
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
Nothing heard. I think everybody's a member then, except for that. Everybody's got a copy of the minutes from last month. Everybody's read them and has no objections. Well,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as posted.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Treasurer's report. Can you put that on the screen, Aaron, or not?
Only if you
Not
have it on
prepared.
your Computer and I can find it.
Because that's what I thought we was gonna do tonight, anyhow.
It's good to visit, is that okay?
That's more than okay.
Yeah, you just miss introductions, but you don't get away with that, so.
I'm Cherry Marty. Northwest Direction.
All right, well, welcome.
Are you licensed ham yet? or-
No, I'm like 5 days into the 6, so I hope we're gonna learn something.
You shall.
All right.
One way or another, you will.
As of the end of February, the cash checking and PayPal, we had, in checking, we had $2,860.31. I've got $20 in cash on hand. In the PayPal account, we've got $75.24 that we can transfer to the bank anytime we want. For a total there of $29.55.55. Taken out of that is the repeater fund of $279.86, which leaves WARC equity of $2,675.69. This month's for expenses, or February, I should say, for expenses, I had $92 for the postal box, and we've got 2 plaques here that Steve got us for the county commissioners and the EMA office that totaled $69.22 for total expenses of $161.22. Income, we had no income come in on PayPal in the month of February. Memberships, actually, pardon me, we had membership come in of $18.81. So that, we talked about that when it started. That's the difference. That's how much PayPal takes. Takes us from the $20 down to the $18.81, $1.19, I think it is. And other thing, we had another membership by check of $20. So we had a total income of $38.81, which is what we reflected in the, or is reflected in the checking total. Any questions? Or
PayPal's with it, right? For the
I think
convenience.
so. We've taken money out in December, I think.
No, we got taking money out of it several times.
But yeah, we took money out for the sales and we took money out for memberships. So, you know, it just makes things so easy for people. If they have any desire, they can join right on the webpage.
And where PayPal will really be beneficial is apparel sales online. Once we
Yeah,
get
and
that going.
if we get into, which I hopefully we'll get into apparel sales this year. And, but it's a piece of cake and is it worth it? It's what, a little over 5%, I guess, right? $20 would be 5%, I think, so it's.
When I was doing it, there were several people that joined that I don't remember seeing at a meeting.
Right. And they're still on the membership list, several of that. And this was February, this was after, and along those lines, I think everybody in here is paid, but it's time to pay the 2022 dues if nobody has. We're gonna probably streamline the membership list. So, willing to receive a motion to accept it.
I'll make the motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Got a second?
Eric?
Second.
Motion's on the table to accept the treasurer's report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Repeater trustee. I guess that's me again. As far as I know, all this has been done. The repeater's been functioning pretty well. We did make some adjustments to the audio. I believe that was February, before March. There is a small issue now with low level of audio underneath. You've got to have a super quiet signal to hear it. I can hear it on my antenna when I'm listening at home. I can't hear it on my walkie-talkie because I pick up just enough noise that covers it up entirely. It's something getting into it, whether it started when we brought the audio levels up or not. I never noticed it until it was brought up by Daryl, so that's something that will have to probably be addressed at some point. Hopefully it's something we can find. And like I said, it's down many dB from the desired signal. Most people never even notice it. And along the same lines, I've been told that the 440 will be making its move shortly. And I think that's all I've got from trustee side of things. Aries, Doug, you got anything for that?
Yeah, I've got quite a few things. I'll just combine the Aries report with the Skywarn report. This month, anyway, it's all kind of tied together. A few weeks ago, several of our members assisted with the delivery of weather radios to various county offices. Bill, Gary, Benny, and was there somebody else?
No,
just three of us.
They went around to many of the county offices, yeah, and delivered radios and made sure they were set up. We did the setup prior to the delivery, but those radios were provided by Wayne County Emergency Management and were delivered again to various offices that had requested to receive those. Gary just touched on the fact about the 440 machine being moved to the tower site where the 2-1 machine's at. Bit of a setback on that. Several weeks ago, we got all the quotes for the equipment, the labor, and so forth, and it really looked like we were good to go probably as soon as the weather broke. Now, the commissioners want a competitive bid or another price from another vendor. So that's going to set that process back probably several months, if not more. So everything's still going to happen. It's just a matter of getting some additional bids in for the work. They really want to, what they want to do is they want to complete, you know, there's structural issues with the tower. They want to get those shored up before we have people climbing up on it. It kind of makes some sense when you think about it that way.
the structural issues are on the new tower,
Yes.
not the old tower.
Well, all the towers require some form of maintenance. It's
Yes.
probably a better way of putting it. The tower where we're at now requires less than the other two that will be torn down.
Yeah.
So they want to do that maintenance prior to sending people up to install antennas and run part of line. And I guess if I was a guy climbing them, that's what I'd want to do too. So we kind of went from this is going to happen real soon to I hope it's done by fall type of stuff. So we'll see how that comes together. Statewide tornado drill on March the 23rd at 9:50 a.m. I think I'll do what I did last year, something similar, where I do a video of the check-ins. Seemed like it was pretty well received. I would like to this time maybe do it and kind of restrict the check-ins to Wayne County operators. Last time we tied the Sarah machine to the Worcester machine, we took the check-ins from a greater number. I'm looking to do this as a promoting amateur radio type of a thing. So maybe reach out to people that you know that typically don't check into things. And on that date, we take the check-ins probably around 9:35. And I'll make a video and kind of promote it that way.
So it's at 10 o'clock?
9:50 is the statewide drill. So we do the radio check-ins probably around 9:35. I'm just sort of a little up on the air as to whether to link the two repeaters together or not. Being my target group are Wayne County residents, I think it would be nice if we could get, if we could get 25, 30 people checked in, Wayne County people from various locations. I can make that make sense in the radio.
So you're gonna leave me out.
Well, it could be mobile.
Mobile, there you go, it could be mobile.
And Skywarn training coming up the next day. The actual training is taking place at the Foursquare Church on the north end of Worcester. Information on the website pertaining to that. Always a popular event in the amateur radio world. And as of right today, I think there's about 55 people that are signed up for that. So there's still room, kind of targeting it for about 100. So there's room for more people. And if you've signed up using the phone app type of thing, you will get a confirmation of that sometime soon. I don't know exactly when, probably next week. You'll get something like, hey, thanks for signing up. We're using the phone app to kind of monitor how many people to expect. I'm kind of looking for it to have around 100. With that being said, it would probably make sense, be nice if the club could have some type of a table there, not really asking for members to do anything as far as the event goes, but to have a table there, maybe a radio, a couple of things, just for discussion. So that's something we might want to talk about as this meeting goes on. And my final thing centers around, most of you remember the Aries Connect program,
Yes.
which kind of went away. Now Ohio's come up with a new program that's doesn't have anything to do with amateur radio, but it does have to do with volunteers registering themselves and keeping track of the hours. And it's called Serve Ohio. The paper that I'm passing around here today kind of shows you the way to get signed up for that. I've already created the Wayne County piece, so it's there. And it's a way to send out, or for the organization to send out whatever needs they might have. And it's also a way for those that want to volunteer to go in there and search for various volunteer opportunities around the state. So it's a brand new program called Serve Ohio. And you're going to be looking for the portion of it that says get connected. I believe that is all I have.
Thank you, Doug. And Biggs, you said the thing about the repeater. I will add as part of the trustee report that if it's going to be delayed, if anyone's wondering why we don't take the 440 down, it's because we're sharing the feed line and we're going to be basically putting, I guess you can call them diplexers, both at the bottom and at the antenna spot. So until the tower is climbed, the 440 won't be making the move. So it'll be staying at the comm center for a few months, it sounds like, as opposed to being moved within the next month or two. So I think that's, as far as I know, that's all that's on the agenda for current. Moving into old business, we've got these plaques here. Steve got, I don't know if Doug wants to. And Javen, I noticed you've joined us. Appreciate you coming in. Welcome you. And thanks for that presentation you gave last month. We got a lot of positive comments on that. We really appreciate it. You want to hold them up for anyone that might not have been here last month, or you want me to hold one of them up,
Well,
or Steve, or, we haven't gave them away.
have Steve do it.
Have Steve do it? Yeah, take it up by the camera for them people, plus us. If the camera's on, what they're seeing, yes, I've just been seeing Eric.
Yeah.
Too many mice. Yeah.
See what it says, but.
May not be able to read it, but they're nice plaques, and
So yeah, the one's for the Wayne County Commissioners, the other one's for the EMA. Kind of hoping I can hand them off to Doug, and he can keep them now.
and it's just our way of saying thank you as a club for all that they've done for us. Doug has made the comment in the past that even though he had got together with Joe and had made arrangements, the repeater move is required by the loss of the tower at the comm center that they've had for 15, 20 years. I don't really know how long we've been on it. But one of the county commissioners came and said, hey, we've got to do something to take care of you. I mean, and it was set up. So it's just our way of saying thanks to them and for Joe, all he's done. Some of you that are new, not in the club, we've got capabilities down at the Justice Center to set up a HF station and a VHF. I shouldn't say to set it up. They are basically there and can be just plugged in at any time. So we are pretty well set up to work with EMA if we have to.
And when Eric, the club president, comes back, we'll set a date for a presentation with the county commissioners as well as EMA. And I would encourage anybody that's able to attend that to do so. It would be in a public meeting. Everybody's welcome.
And I kept saying Joe, Barb's been just as helpful as Joe has been. So Joe and Barb both are on EMA. They've both been very helpful to the club over the years that I've been involved. Under new business, next month, I guess Doug here is going to give us a presentation on using WinLink. Is that going to be on HF or VHF or both? Or
It'll be both.
you want to advertise it? Or?
Next month, I'll be doing a presentation on WinLink, both HF and VHF.
Reputation. I thought maybe you had something great set up to.
You got
Lead us in.
You gotta throw a teaser out there, Gary. They gotta come back to the next meeting.
Next meeting,
Learn more.
learn more about WinLink. Learn it and then hopefully use it.
I'll take it a little further. For those that may or may not know, WinLink is a way to actually send email using the amateur radio. So think of a situation where the internet is unable to be accessed. You can, using a laptop or a computer, you're able to transmit email messages actually rather simply through the airwaves, so to speak. So could be handy in an emergency or disaster type situation, because you're just sending a regular email that anybody can receive, and they don't need any special knowledge like you would with some other digital notes and amateur radio.
We're looking for other ideas for programs. Don't really have one this month, but for the visitor and anyone else that's interested, I did bring a little project box full of in-work projects that I'm currently working on, from All-Star Echo Link to a $100, well, actually a $30 antenna tuner for 100 watts. And the same people that make that make one that's got latching relays that hardly pulls any power at all for the ICOM 705. The next thing, any other, does anyone in here have any suggestions for presentations? Anyone? The only other thing I'll say, I think Goose is talking about coming up, giving us one on QSLs again and the bureaus at some point when he gets back in Florida. Does anyone else have any suggestions or requests for specific presentations?
Gary,
Yes.
I'm hoping in a couple of months, I'll be able to give an introduction to Easy Spice circuit analysis.
That'd be awesome. Is that cinnamon spice or Indian spices or?
Well, they're Indian.
Okay. Wasn't sure. But yeah, that'll be very interesting. I'll go right along with what Javen did with his antenna modeling. If I understand it right, that is basically modeling hardware, right?
Yes, you can set up an oscillator or a power supply or whatever, and then graph it on the screen, and then you have that circuit actually as hardware. Then you can project that through your oscilloscope and just compare the two.
Yeah. Looking forward to that, Eric. Anything else along the program line? Okay, field day is coming up before you know it. Venue suggestions, antennas and equipment. I think antennas, we got two people that want to use antennas. We've got Eric's off-center fed dipole that's been quite successful. And if Russell's involved, then Russell still wants to use the skeletons as well. Venue is what we're kind of looking for. We're kind of hoping that that the tower would be moved by then, but we might be able to find a way around that noisy power supply up there if we use the comm center. But we'd like to have someplace where the public can see us now that COVID's going off a little bit and get a little more outreach. So I don't know if anyone's got any ideas better than the comm center for venues or not.
What about Oak Hill Park?
Oak Hill Park. Where?
Oak Hill Park, at the pavilion.
Pavilion's pretty busy. I don't know whether we could take over. We'd have to check with the Rotary Club, I
Yeah,
think.
that's a good point.
We might be able to. There's also a small pavilion on Freelander. I will say one thing, a lot of field days, it's awful nice to have air conditioning. But
Notice I don't go.
but anyhow, we're thinking, do you have any thoughts on that, Eric?
Well, I like the idea of the Oak Hill Park, but I don't know. I think it is reservable. So we just have to check.
Yeah, I mean, we need it for 2 full days and we'd have to, unless someone ended up spending the night, we'd have to pull equipment in and out. But I think that would be a great place to get some visibility.
Exactly.
So,
And the club has used Freelanders in the past. The nice thing about that is the trees you can work with.
there's a lot of nice antenna hanging at Freelander.
And you get a good public flow at that point.
And you get some public flow because it's right down by the pool. If anyone's not familiar with Freelander. Where did you guys go? Did you go to the pavilion up on the hill to the left of the pool?
Many years, I think that's where we were.
That's where the telescope stuff used to be. That was right
Something in
beside
that
there.
area.
But anyhow, something to think about, but it's not very long till we got to decide because this is March, we got April and May and the field day is June, so.
Part of it, what classification do you want to run? If we stay with the comm center or down EMA Justice Center, we can do one or an F classification, compete in that group. Otherwise, if we do a Freelander or Oak Hill with emergency power, then we're competing with all the A's.
Yeah, I think you have to literally be at an EMA facility, right?
Yeah.
So that's the advantage that comes there. But we've never really worried about points a great deal for the most part in recent years. You know, in previous years, you had some real competitive people.
And I like that, get it out, get our equipment out, work with it, find what we can do, how we can tweak it better, have fun, get exposure. If we run 2A, we,
But look over some of these places and maybe even go run a little mobile and see how they work. See how the noise is at Freelander now.
The EMA vehicle is not an option to have.
Well, I was just gonna talk about that, and it might, I'm just thinking, I hate to talk about something I may not be able to deliver, right today, but I think I can come up with this idea if people are interested. We could take that EMA vehicle and put it there in the parking lot of the Justice Center and set everything up there, and you could run, a couple stations inside of that, but it's also got the canopy outside. You're kind of weather dependent on it, but that would be one of those sort of offbeat things, but.
That'd be great.
if you can get the EMA unit, go up to Oak Park, that still becomes an F because it's part of the EMA.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That won't work though. I mean, the reason it won't work is you can't leave it set there.
They've got a lot tighter with it.
Yeah.
We'll have to stay with it.
It could stay at the Justice Center overnight, but, you know, I mean, if somebody's with it all night.
Yeah.
Well, we probably could get someone to spend the night as far as that goes, if that's all it took. It didn't have to be an official.
I'm gonna say that's not gonna, that way won't work,
Okay,
but having it at the park, at the Justice Center parking lot, will.
and we can run that, probably could run antennas all the way to the top of the roof.
Yeah,
I mean, we could probably put an end fed up there that was amazing.
I kind of like that, because that's a practical, real place.
Prisoners plan.
President, what do you think of that? Oh,
But like I said, I don't want to say I'm sitting here.
Is it worth looking into? though?
90%, yeah, we could do that.
I'm asking Eric if he thinks it's worth looking into.
Absolutely.
All right, I think I'd get a report back from Doug when we can and go from there. And if that's doable. And like last year, we used our own radios. We used the Kenwood from the A, and we used the Icon that we got at the comm center. Now, Mike wasn't really thrilled about that, but I do like the idea of using our own equipment in case someone's not available, but not sold on that. We can work that out too in the future. But antennas, if we go to the Justice Center, I bet that off center fed would work awesome going from the roof over to the trees over there by, what's that, East-West Street, Larwell? Anyhow,
Low end fed, you get more near coverage.
70 feet from the top of the building.
And we'd be close enough, we could operate HF downstairs too.
only if it rained real hard.
It's real hot.
I'll have the answer to that.
Of course, they may not want to let of course, we'll probably have to power in the building. I was just gonna say with the price of diesel, we might not be running.
They just plug it right into the building.
Yeah, we can plug in as well. Of course, then we lose our emergency. Of course, if I understand field day right now, as long as you run your radios on emergency power, it doesn't make any difference how you run your logging programs or air conditioning or anything else.
Well,
You can
if
still.
we're down there and doing an F classification, we can use Standard Electric, as long as there's a standby generator available at that
As
site,
long as we turn it on.
and turn it on, turn it on.
But even if you are running full emergency power, you can use AC power now unless they change the rules again for your logging and
Right.
everything else. So
Generator in the vehicle as well as the building posts.
I was just thinking about the $12 diesel. pump.
Yeah, I'm not running it the whole time, just.
The half hour that we're supposed to. and do that.
You don't even have, you just have to turn it on.
That's right.
They did change some field day rules for this year. They,
Yeah,
no more
this year-
high power.
Homes to homes can work for field day.
Yeah, they're gonna keep the rule they started with COVID that people can operate from home, put it with our score. and
Yeah.
there's no more high power stations on.
Yeah, not
If
even,
you
it's
turn
a
water
100-watt
on,
limit, no more
all you do
150s.
is 100 watts.
Anyhow, if there's no more discussion on that, we'll just proceed with investigation.
Investigation will be completed by 8:30 tomorrow morning.
And then all be decides what we do for antennas and stuff like that, whether we do a practice run or. Practice run kind of goes with purpose. It just makes-
repeater, PL 88.5.
It's a good thing the roof is 70 foot because the building's that low.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the only other thing I'll say about programming, anyone wants to see some of the kind of stuff you can do, I do have a kit over here. I'll lay it out on the tables after the meeting. If someone wants to look at it. If you don't, that's okay too. I just brought it in because there was nothing going on tonight. I've got some printed circuit boards that was actually etched with salt water and vinegar and just a little show and tell. We used to do that at a machine working group I went to. And people start bringing in projects they're working on. Always interests me, maybe nobody else. I think that's everything that's on the agenda. Any other new business? Anybody got a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Was you gonna try to show us anything about the website or not, Aaron, after the business meeting closed?
I don't know. If there's something you wanna see, I can.
Well, somebody had mentioned, was it you, Eric, or somebody had mentioned to me that it'd be nice to, for some of the people that's never seen it, just to
I
go
think it
through.
was Michelle on the net.
Huh?
I think it was Michelle on the net.
Was it Michelle? Well, I'm sure she's watching it, on YouTube. So if you could do that, Eric, after we adjourn, we still got plenty of time tonight. We finished up early. So, motion to adjourn the business portion.
Yeah.
I got the motion.
Oh, someone did it, second,
Mike
Aye.
second.
I-
done. You're back next month, right?
Yes. I'll be there for the Skywarn and for the Simplex.
I offered to pass the hat to get him gas to come home, but he said he was gonna be okay.
I suggested a second mortgage.
All right, Aaron, you're up if you want
I guess I gotta go up here so I have a keyboard.
it. Okay. Mouse is working, or was when I sat down, so.
Not a whole lot to share really, but homepage here are all the posts. Any information we always put on the homepage here. Let's see here. This is a little club calendar here. I try to load some stuff, Hamfest and different events the club may be interested in. I guess if you ever have anything you want on there, send it to me. Link to Aries there. Club newsletters pretty much done, so
Yeah, we need a club newsletter editor too, if anyone's so inclined, if we keep it going.
I may,
Russell is retired.
as I say, I'll probably, until something else happens, turn that into just an archive or something. If people want to go back and look at it, you can. All the newsletters since I've been on the web page, you can get from here. Should be able to go in and get to any of the old newsletters. If you care to look at them. What else here? Photo albums, not a whole lot in there. I guess field days and Gary's antenna project we did. So I guess any photos, send them my way and I'll put them up. DMR code plug actually probably gets the most hits out of everything on our website. Watching the different pages, how many people click on it, but no, I don't think I really have many instructions there. Yeah, I do have some. Down at the bottom should be a download link for the code plug that it's a little different than most of us had in it. It's kind of an updated one, I guess, but pretty similar.
Aaron, something I think that's on there that's sometimes overlooked, people oftentimes have questions, is at the bottom of the home page, you will, there's a link to the digital dashboard. And that's something that it actually just came up on Monday night. So I said, where's this dashboard you're talking about?
Yeah.
And it's right right there.
Yeah, you can get it down here at the bottom, so this is the dashboard for DMR, it'll take you to it, either at the bottom in the footer there.
And if you're not used to it, I think most of us in here are, but if you're not, it tells you whether you're coming in over the air, over the internet. All that information's right there on the dashboard. So if someone's kind of noisy, you can go see if they're coming in to repeater. If they dropped off, you can see if it's on the repeater, if it's on a hotspot at home. There's a lot of information on that dashboard. And anyone has access to it.
And as far as the All-Star Echo Link, kind of the same thing here for the 2.1 machine. This will show you basically all the connections, which there's none right now.
Yeah, if you do that in the morning, you just link to,
Or you can go to the status and it's been running for 66 days currently since the last time it was reset. So it's been working pretty good for the most part.
And knowing that we have guests here that you're just kind of coming into us, explain to them what All-Star does.
All-Star and Echo Link, they're kind of they run on a little Raspberry Pi computer about this big that's hooked up to the repeater. You can either, Gary might have a node with them, you can do a node like this, and anywhere in the world, essentially, if you've got internet, you can connect that node to the internet, and then use your HT and talk to people on the local repeater here, just like you were at home. Or Echo Link, you can get an app on your phone or on the computer, and same thing, you can link to our local repeater and talk just like you were local here.
this is
Kind of a handy tool.
66 days out there.
It was doing it over the internet, like the internet connection or something.
What
Yeah,
they're doing it from your radio.
It's,
But it does require internet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some, there now, like the 3.9 machine, they can link some of their stuff, or because they've got a 5 gigahertz link. That if internet's down, they can still link multiple repeaters, because they've essentially built a huge long-range Wi-Fi network between the repeaters. It's kind of cool. The Worcester one doesn't have that, but it does require internet, but it's handy to have. I keep one in my truck. Sometimes if I'm out of range, I'll driving all day, I'll connect it up and listen.
So like you just hotspot it to your phone?
Yeah, I have a little jetpack in my truck for my computers and stuff, but yeah, you can link that to your phone, or
That's a full HT.
you can do Echo Link on your cell phone, which is an app I don't like it as much personally. I'd rather carry one of them around and you can talk just like you're talking on the radio. Audio is a little better quality. It's voice over IP is all it is. Pretty handy. They're fun to build. They're pretty simple. That little one there, that board on the top.
That's a full HT on a chip.
Yeah, so that little chip he's got his finger on is $10, I believe. It's a radio.
And a lot of fun to solder in.
Yeah, it's a little radio. Of course, you gotta add speakers and microphone or whatever, but it's soldered to the board that actually connects to the Raspberry Pi. And that board's like $25. I think that entire package there you can build for under $100, or you can buy one from some of the big names that are $300 or $400. They're really not hard to build once you've done it once, I guess. Or
Yeah.
The most confusing part is if you're not familiar with Linux, you gotta learn some Linux, and I set mine all up command line, which isn't hard once you've done it, but it does take some time to figure out. And
We got a pretty good guru here and a couple more up north. So
it's a fun project if you ever want to do it. We can set you up with how to do it. I guess the other place you can get to all that.
And the one on the repeater, you can hook up to with your touch tone. The information's available. I mean, you don't have to have internet yet. If you've got a 440 rig with a touch tone pad, you can hook up literally to any node in the world that accepts connections.
Yeah, you can just over our app.
The internet.
If you're talking on our repeater.
Well, it's over the internet, but you don't have, if you're on the repeater, you don't have to have internet.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
so he could,
That's right.
Just asterisk 70 or asterisk.
yeah, he could send a DTMF string from his HT to our repeater. He could actually link that to any other repeater that has All-Star. It's open to anybody, really.
Yeah.
As long as you know the
And
stuff.
the
to do.
codes are
Very
public
available.
knowledge. They're not secret like the old repeater stuff used to be.
Every morning, we link to the Doylestown repeater for the one that Monday through Saturday. But you can link to other countries or just another fun tool to play with, I guess. All the dashboards are also available on the repeaters tab here. Tells a little information about them. And I don't really have much more for it.
Would it, for a club, for the club website, would it be a good thing to put up like some links to ARRL and things of that nature, maybe the Ohio section? link?
Yeah, I wanted to do like it's kind of an information page as far as if you want to get licensed, what to do right after you get licensed when you're tech. Get some input or suggestions on it. I'm always open to. If somebody wants to put some stuff together. It's pretty easy to put up. But really, if anybody else wants to be part of the website, you can we can set you up with a login, and you can log in right online and make the posts up and contribute to the website. It's always helpful. I struggle sometimes to come up with what to put on there.
I can use links to tutorials right now.
Put it under.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, that is something we probably ought to put on a couple of the good training sites.
Mhm.
There's a couple of really good online training sites anymore.
There's some real good YouTubers that they're the ones that walk me through most of my tests.
But we can link to those.
Yeah,
pictures, right?
yeah, we can basically,
Put a
just
resource.
put links up there, helpful links to either somebody that wants to get licensed or,
Put it under, get on the air, right?
yeah, basically. That's kind of why that tab started, but it never got finished completely.
Takes time.
Takes time. I guess the only other kind of really useful thing here at the bottom is that link will bring you to our YouTube page if you struggle to find it to watch meetings or any of the presentations we leave on there for looking at down the road if you want to.
Your code plug, is that for a specific radio?
The Linko DJ MD5.
Okay, so.
If anybody has a different DMR radio, I would like to actually put some code plugged up of the other Anytones. I know is another popular one. I don't know anything about YSF or D-Star if there's anything to put there. It'd be nice to have something for all of them, but I only have the one radio myself.
I have a couple of the Linko radios, but I also have a Anytone mobile, and the Linko code plug went right into that. It looks
Very
looks the
similar.
same. It worked.
Yep.
Your mileage may vary. I think my TYT.
MD, LMD, whatever. Those code plugs are definitely around. John had one for that, I'm pretty sure. Tom, that's what Tom's got. He's got it loaded, so. You got yours loaded, right?
Yeah.
Sarah might even have some of those on their website.
Yeah, I think they had a couple of DMR ones, I think. Their website changed a little bit, and some of the stuff's not as easy to find. I'm not sure if that's still up there or not. I haven't
The
looked at it.
Ohio section, the Aries page does have a variety of Ohio code plugs that people have submitted.
That would be a good link to put on.
That's a place to get it.
Guess the only other thing really is the join tab, which that's eventually gonna change a little bit from how it is. Actually have a shopping cart. We gotta straighten some of the, or not straighten it out, but change around the PayPal a little bit, so then it'll just self-go your bill and not send you a link like it does right now, but it's really all I have on it, unless somebody's got questions about it.
It's been a great improvement. Appreciate all the work you put into it.
Jason's the one that put it up and he launched it. And I just add stuff to it and tweak it. And not too hard once you got it up. It's
It's a long ways from where it used to be.
yeah.
And Jason had it up and going within, I think, a week after we decided to move forward.
Yeah, but pretty quick.
Thank you.
Looks like a man with something to say on the screen now.
I would just like to thank Gary for running the meeting tonight. Fantastic job. And Aaron, thank you for filling in with the website description. Appreciate it.
I have a question for you, Eric.
I have an answer.